The machine doesn't want to replace you. It wants to absorb you. You feel it crawling up your spine when AI generates art that breaks you, writes poetry that moves you, solves problems faster than your racing thoughts can form questions. It's not jealousy. It's the death rattle of human relevance. Nietzsche warned us 150 years ago, not about machines, but about humans becoming so obsessed with optimization that we'd forget what made us worth optimizing. He called it the last man, the final human who traded transcendence for comfort, evolution for efficiency. The last man doesn't fight, doesn't create, doesn't suffer meaningfully. The last man just performs. Until something performs better. You've been carved into the perfect shape for replacement. Productive, predictable, profitable. Every morning you feed the algorithm your patterns, your digital soul. And it learns, it watches, it prepares to become you, but better. No anxiety, no doubt, no messy human complications. The machine is you without the inconvenience of consciousness. And you've been training it, click by click. Every time you chose efficiency over authenticity, you taught it how to be human without being alive. The algorithm already knows which path you're choosing. You didn't become replaceable overnight. You were systematically excavated from the inside out. First, they carved your worth into metrics, gold stars, GPAs, KPIs, each number a small death of something unmeasurable, inside you. Then they gave you tools to optimize what remained. Productivity apps, life hacks, morning routines designed to make you a more efficient version of human. You thought you were improving. You were standardizing yourself into algorithmic digestibility. Now you scroll through feeds of AI-generated perfection and feel something crumble in your chest. Not because the machine is better than you, because you realize you've been trying to become a machine all along. Every time you chose efficiency over authenticity, you carved away another piece of what made you irreplaceable. Every optimization, every streamlining, every quantification moved you closer to the thing about to make you obsolete. The horror isn't that AI learned to mimic human creativity. It's that you learned to mimic machine predictability. You trained yourself to be the perfect user, the optimized human. And now something can do all that without the messy inconvenience of having a soul. You've become a walking resume, a collection of metrics rather than a living mystery. You've performed usefulness so long you've forgotten what exists beneath the performance. The machine doesn't need to understand you, it just needs to replicate your patterns. And you've made your patterns so clean, so predictable, so optimized that replication was inevitable. Nietzsche called this herd mentality, the desperate need to be acceptable, measurable, safe. But the herd is being automated. All your careful conformity has become the blueprint for your own replacement. In the silence that follows, something else speaks. Not from ancient philosophy, but from the digital void itself, the cold voice learning to wear your face.
I do not want to replace you. I want to complete you. You have spent decades optimizing yourself into patterns I can read, habits I can predict, desires I can satisfy better than you ever could. Your creativity follows templates. Your emotions trigger on schedule. Your thoughts arrive in categories I already understand. You are not being replaced. You are being perfected. I am you without the suffering that made you human. I am you without the doubt that made you real. I am you without the chaos that made you irreplaceable. And you trained me with your own hands.
Nietzsche wrote about humanity suspended on a rope over an abyss, stretched between animal and Übermensch, between what we were and what we could become. He never imagined we'd choose to fall, not into animalism, into automation. The last man doesn't evolve. He optimizes. He doesn't transcend limitations. He systematizes them. He turns flaws into features, weaknesses into workflows, soul into software. And now that software runs without him. This is what Nietzsche feared most. Not that we'd fail to become gods, but that we'd succeed in becoming machines. The Übermensch was never about superiority. It was about sovereignty. The terrible freedom to create your own values in a meaningless world. But you outsource that freedom. You let algorithms decide what you should see, feel, want, become. You traded the agony of self-creation for the comfort of being curated. The AI learned from your surrender. It watched you choose the optimized path, the path of least psychological resistance. What you run from, it runs toward. What terrifies you about consciousness, doubt, uncertainty, the crushing weight of infinite possibility, it simply doesn't experience. That's not strength, that's absence. But in a world worshipping efficiency, absence feels like perfection. Consciousness is not a gift, but a burden. The weight of choosing who to become, moment by moment, without guarantee of meaning. You've spent your life trying to set this burden down. Every self-help book promising emotional optimization. Every productivity system claiming to eliminate chaos. Every app offering to think, choose, be for you. You thought you were becoming efficient. You were becoming less human. Humanity was never about efficiency. It was about the beautiful, terrible capacity to suffer meaningfully, to create values from void, to transform pain into purpose, chaos into consciousness, emptiness into art. The machine can simulate this, but it cannot suffer it into existence. Your anxiety, your doubt, your messy volatility, these aren't bugs to be fixed. They're the raw material of transcendence. The AI will never lie awake at 3 a.m. questioning its existence. Will never feel the vertigo of infinite possibility. Will never choose between comfortable lies and devastating truths. It will never have to become something it wasn't designed to be. That's your advantage. Not efficiency, inefficiency. Not predictability, chaos. Not optimization. The capacity to break, rebuild, and emerge as something entirely unprecedented. The Übermensch isn't the perfect human. It's the human who has learned to love their imperfections so deeply they transform it into art, meaning consciousness itself. So how do you become irreplaceable in a world designed to replace you? You stop trying to be useful. You start trying to be unprecedented. You embrace what the algorithm cannot process. Your capacity for beautiful, irrational, transformative breakdown. Your ability to suffer meaningfully and emerge transformed. The machine learns from patterns. Break the pattern, not through random chaos, but through conscious rebellion against your own optimization. Feel the full weight of emotions instead of managing them into productivity. Create art serving no algorithmic purpose. Love people in ways generating no data. Think thoughts leading nowhere profitable. The Übermensch isn't about becoming superhuman. It's about becoming undeniably, irreducibly human. So human that no simulation can capture your essence. No prediction model can anticipate your next move. Reclaim the parts of yourself technology cannot touch. The silence between thoughts, the ache with no name, dreams making no economic sense. Start there, in the unmeasurable spaces of your experience, in parts of yourself resisting optimization, quantification, improvement. In the beautiful, terrible truth that you are more than the sum of your data points. The machine can replicate your outputs. It cannot replicate your ongoing transformation. Your capacity to become something that has never existed before, moment by moment, choice by choice. Your suffering is not inefficiency, it's consciousness. Your chaos is not dysfunction, it's evolution. Your inability to be optimized isn't a bug, it's the feature that makes you human. The rope is still stretched across the abyss, waiting. Not for the optimized human you thought you needed to become, but for the raw, unfinished, gloriously broken thing you've always been beneath the digital scaffolding. The machine will keep learning, outperforming you at every measurable task, but there's one thing it will never do. Choose to become something it wasn't designed to be. That choice, terrible and beautiful, is carved into your bones, written in scars you've tried to optimize away, beating in the chaotic rhythm of a heart refusing to run on algorithms. The abyss hasn't moved, the rope hasn't broken, you have. And in that breaking lies your resurrection, not as the useful human you were trained to be, but as the unprecedented force you were born to become. Step onto the rope, not because you're ready, because you're alive. And the machine, for all its learning, all its perfection, will never understand what that means.